So what happens when your entire digital life gets taken hostage and the giant tech company that holds all the keys just won't pick up the phone? Today, we're going to break down this incredible story of how one cybersecurity expert went to war with a tech giant, not with code, but with a really clever legal strategy that turned a simple help ticket into a full-blown international incident.
And it all starts right here, with this simple, frankly desperate message from actress Nicole Eggert. This wasn't just, a forgotten password. This was the start of a total digital nightmare. And you can just feel the frustration in her words. This is the human side of a problem that often feels completely inhuman.
The stakes here were just astronomically high. A hacker had completely taken over her account, locking her out of years of photos, private messages, you name it. And most importantly, the account held the entire digital record of her cancer journey, something that's just irreplaceable. The hacker had actually started the deletion process, which meant a countdown clock was ticking towards everything being wiped out forever. And of course, the standard online recovery forms, totally useless.
So, what do? You try to email the legal department, right? Well, nope. This slide just perfectly captures the problem. This is an automated delivery failure message from legal@meta.com. Even a carefully written message to the legal team just bounces right back. The system is basically a digital brick wall. It's designed to keep you out. There are no humans there.
Okay, so when the automated systems say no, you need someone who knows how to get around them. And that is exactly where the hero of our story steps in.
What's so interesting here is the contrast. On the left, you've got what most of us can do. Reset a password, fill out a form, and just hope for the best. But on the right, you see a completely different toolkit. We're talking digital forensics to trace the hack, ethical hacking to understand the weak spots, and, this is the key, a deep understanding of international law. This problem was about to stop being a tech problem and start being a major legal one.
So who is this guy, Alberto Daniel Hill? Well, he's a pretty well-known name in the cybersecurity world. If you listen to the podcast Darknet Diaries, you've probably heard of him. He's got a long history of finding flaws in big systems. But his real superpower, at least for this story, is his knack for getting around the exact AI filters and automated walls that big companies put up to get a problem in front of an actual person who can do something about it.
So faced with this massive digital wall, Hill decided not to try and break through it. Instead, he planned to go around it, over it, and under it, all at the same time. He called it the tricontinental attack.
And this right here, this is his whole strategy in one image. Just look at the recipient list on this email. It's not just going to Meta's lawyers. It's also CC'd to the Italian Postal Police, the Italian Data Protection Authority, and the European Data Protection Board. See what he did? He turned a private customer service issue into a public regulatory matter. He knew the company could ignore him, but it couldn't ignore its own regulators.
And this chart breaks down exactly how he built up all that pressure. It was like a three-front war. In the US, he reported it as financial fraud to the California AG. In Uruguay, he filed a complaint for illegal access. And then the big one. In Europe, specifically Italy, he reported it as a major data breach under the super powerful GDPR law. Each of these created a different legal headache, forcing the company to fight on multiple fronts at once.
So why all the trouble with Europe? Well, it all comes down to this number, 4%. Under GDPR, a company can be fined up to 4% of its total global revenue for one serious data breach. For a company the size of Meta, we're not talking about a small fine, we are talking about a potential multi-billion-dollar hit. Filled into the just find a lever to pull, he found the big red button.
And here, in his own words to the hacker, of all people, Hill basically lays out his checkmate move. He's saying, look, this is not a normal help ticket anymore. I've officially made this an international legal case involving cybercrime agencies in 3 different regions. The entire game had just changed.
So how on earth did he do it? How did one person manage to trigger this massive international response? Well, the secret was to weaponize the very thing we all love to hate, bureaucracy.
The specific weapon of choice was Article 33 of the GDPR, and the most important part of this law is that it doesn't just give you the right to complain, it actually requires the company to report itself to the authorities when a serious data breach happens. So by officially telling Meta about the breach, Hill basically started a legal countdown for them to report themselves to the government.
But hang on, how could he even use a European law against a US company for a US citizen? This slide shows the skeleton key. Right there in the email, he identifies himself as an Italian citizen. Because he has Italian citizenship, he had legal standing in the EU. He wasn't just some expert helping out.
Under the law, he was an EU data subject, with rights, acting as an agent. That one personal detail unlocked the entire legal power of a continent.
So let's just quickly recap this playbook because it's pretty amazing. First, he established his legal right to even be there using his EU citizenship. Second, he sends a formal notice naming the specific law he's using. Third, and this is the real genius move, he copies the regulators on the email, making them witnesses in real time. And with that, he instantly flips the whole thing from a private complaint into a public compliance crisis.
And that's why this worked so well. Those automated email filters, like the one we saw at the beginning, they're built to ignore people like us. But what they're not built to do is ignore a formal legal notice that has also been sent to the Italian police and the Irish Data Protection Commission. All of a sudden, a real human had to get involved, and they had to do it fast.
You know, this whole thing is way more than just a wild story. It really offers some powerful lessons about power, technology, and what our rights look like in this digital world. Hill actually suggested this takeaway himself in a message, and you just have to love it. It's a little funny, yeah, but the point is dead serious. When you're dealing with automated systems that create these impossible walls, sometimes the only way to get through is with specialized, unconventional thinking. The algorithm doesn't care about your problem, but a human expert just might.
And all of this leaves us with a really big question. As more and more of our lives are controlled by these AI gatekeepers with zero human oversight, is this the new face of consumer protection? Are these kinds of creative, multi-layered legal hacks the future of getting help? Maybe the new model isn't filling out a form, but finding someone who knows how to use the system against itself. It's a pretty powerful thought.